Hi everyone! Our goal as gardeners is to always have something to harvest in the garden. Whether you're growing outdoors or indoors during the cold winter months, it's always great to have something to harvest so you have food to eat at all times from the garden. Now I like to do this with succession planting. This is a new term for you. Succession planting simply means that you're gardening in such a way that you're spacing out your planting and harvesting so you're not overloaded with one massive harvest that you can't possibly eat all at once. So today I'm going to share with you 3 tips for succession planting. With a little bit of planning, you can keep your garden growing and harvesting and have healthy food to feed your family, and that's going to feel really good. Tip number 1 is to plant seeds with different maturity dates. So everything's not ready to harvest all at once. Remember, our goal as gardeners is to keep the harvest coming. Now this is super easy to do. The way that we do that is through our seed selection. That's the kicker. For example, here in my fall garden, I planted 3 different types of radishes. The first type, the Roxanne radish, goes from seed to harvest in about 20 days, and I've already harvested those. Hopefully you're able to catch that video. The second type I planted is this beautiful, sweet baby radish. I love the color, but it goes from seed to harvest in about 40 days, and we're going to harvest it today, so stay tuned for that. And the third type I planted in here is called the Rivoli Radish, and this goes from seed to harvest in about 30 days. So you can see by spreading out the different types of seeds that you planted, planting seeds with different maturity dates, you can spread your harvest out and keep the harvest coming. I'm going to plant some more seeds here in my garden bed in just a moment, but before I do, I need to get some radishes harvested. Now I'm growing them here in the Smart Pots 8-foot long raised bed. Thank you so much, Smart Pots, for partnering with us on this episode. So first of all, I'm going to pull out these sweet baby radishes. Now the sweet babies are an All America Selections winner. Look at the color on these radishes. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the rest of these out. Wow, look at the color on these. That is so beautiful. I just cannot wait to eat these. These are so pretty. The next radish I'm going to harvest is the Rivoli radish. Now these go from seed to harvest in about 30 days. What a beautiful color. Oh my goodness, those are absolutely gorgeous. This is going to add such a nice, tasty zip to a salad. Wow, these are so, so pretty. The nice thing about these radishes too is they've been in my garden for longer than 30 days, but they hold very, very nicely in the garden. And with the heat we've had lately, they are looking a little bit elongated, but that's okay. The next batch of seeds I'm going to put in, it's cool weather now, and the radishes are going to grow beautifully. Wow, look at this one. Oh, that's a pretty one. I am so excited about this harvest. Can't wait to get them inside and put them in the salad. For those of you that are already in for the winter, sending some California harvest your way. Now that my garden bed is empty, it's time to get some seeds planted. And remember, it's all in the seed selection. I've got 20-day, 30-day, and 40-day radishes. Perfect. First off, I've already planted my Roxanne radishes right here. Planted them about a week ago. They're already germinating, looking very good. These are the 20-day radishes. So in about 3 weeks, under optimal conditions in cool weather, which it is right now, I'll be eating these radishes. The next radishes I'm going to plant are the Rivoli radishes. And remember, those are the 30-day radishes. So I'll have some to harvest in about 20 days, the Roxanne, and then these Rivolis will be ready just a few days later. I'm going to plant these seeds about 2 inches apart. Just drop them right into the soil. Radishes are so easy to plant, a great project to do with kids because they grow so fast. Just cover them right up. And with radishes, you don't need to add any additional fertilizer because that will help them grow into nice roots instead of a lot of leaves. Got my Rivoli radishes all planted, got them labeled. Now it's time for the sweet babies, which go from seed to harvest in 40 days. So by careful seed selection, we are going to have radishes to harvest over a period of time so we don't have a ton of radishes all at once. And by the way, the Smart Pots long raised bed is very durable. I'm very impressed. It's held up to the wind, to some rain, and this hot Southern California heat. Because the fabric is porous and much more breathable, it's grown these radishes absolutely beautifully in spite of the heat. Now that we've planted seeds with different maturity dates, the second tip to keep the harvest coming in succession plant is to don't stop planting. What I like to do is plant little mini crops every 2 to 3 weeks so that you have a continual harvest. And one of my favorite vegetables to do this with is lettuce. That way I always ensure I have a nice, fresh, tasty salad to eat. So I'm going to plant another little row of lettuce here in the Smart Pots raised bed. Now it does require a little bit of planning to do this because you have to leave empty spots in your garden. Now one little tip if you don't have empty spots in your garden is to just create an empty spot by bringing in an extra container. And I love to do this with bringing in extra Smart Pots containers. They're a great way to expand your growing space because they're super portable. You can move them around your garden and they're also very inexpensive, so you can always have plenty of them in your garden. My little empty garden bed spot, I'm so excited to get some of this purple lettuce planted. This is called Lola Divino, and you can see why by this purple color. I'm just going to pour some into my hand and plant a little mini row. To take advantage of this tip, we're going to plant this little row here, and then in 2 weeks we'll plant another little row. In 2 more weeks we'll plant another little row. So by the time this first row is harvesting, we're eating it, the plants are just about finished and ready to be composted, your second and third row are all ready to harvest. So that way you spread your harvest out, and remember our goal is to what? That's right, keep the harvest coming. Some other crops that you could plant every 2 to 3 weeks are kale, carrots, beans, and peas. The third step to succession planting and keeping the harvest coming is to grow transplants. You don't have to wait for garden space to be completely empty before you start growing them. You can start them in seeds indoors, in pellets like I have here, and then transplant them into the garden when the time is right. So right now I'm actually going to pull out some patio pride peas that didn't make it through our triple digit temperatures. These ones succumbed, but the cool thing is I have some transplants all ready to take their place, which gives me a little bit of a jump of time and helps keep the harvest coming. Now I love these peas. They're a nice compact variety. They're perfect for growing in my Smart Pots container. And these pea plants actually only get to about 6 inches tall. So these are a lot of fun. And look at these. They're already blooming. And I should see a harvest within a month or so. So I'm just going to dig a little hole here in my soil, put my little transplants in here. And this is a super easy thing to do with any different types of crops. I've got several started in my little tray here. In fact, this dill smells so good. I'll be planting that in the garden very soon as well. Look at this dill. This is absolutely beautiful. It's been growing in my pellets now for about a month. So I'm going to be harvesting fresh dill before you know it. In fact, I'd really love to get some of this dill planted, but I don't have any more room in this garden bed. So I'm actually going to plant some right back here in this 5-gallon Smart Pots container. Now you might remember back here I had a tomato planted in here, which is done, finishes production. So here's a perfect example of succession planting. And it's easy to add extra garden space with the Smart Pots. That's one thing I absolutely love about them. Easy to expand the garden space. I'm going to throw in these dill transplants, and this smells absolutely heavenly. I wish you could smell it. And I started these dill seeds inside when it was way too hot to grow them outside. Now that the weather's getting cooler the past couple of weeks, I'm able to plant transplants right here in this little Smart Pots container, and I'm going to be harvesting dill before you know it. In fact, I can even harvest some right here, right now, from these little peat pellets. Oh, it smells so good. And the wonderful thing about the Smart Pots is too, if it gets too cold out here for this dill, I can just pick this up and bring it right up to my deck, or even move it inside. Look at these roots. And I know these roots are going to do wonderfully in the Smart Pots. Because this fabric is aerated, it's very breathable, and it does something called air pruning. So instead of the roots getting all root bound and wound up in here, when they reach the sides of the container, they air prune and form a nice fibrous root mass which allows them to be able to take up water and nutrients and grow absolutely beautifully in a container. Look at these beautiful feathery leaves. Oh, I just love this. I've got to pick some and eat it right here. Oh, this is so good. All organic. Oh, fabulous. So tasty. So now you know how to succession plant, whether you're going to plant seeds with different maturity dates, plant every couple of weeks, or start from transplants. Whether you're growing out in the garden or indoors during the winter time, you'll be able to have a continual harvest. And remember what our goal is: keep the harvest coming. Thank you so much, Smart Pots, for partnering with us on this video. To learn more about Smart Pots, go to smartpots.com or check the link in the video description. And remember, what's our goal as gardeners? That's right, you guys got it. Keep the harvest coming. Comment below, let me know how you're going to keep the harvest coming this winter by succession planting in your garden. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.